Hey guys, with the final raid in TBC launching Thursday, I wanted to briefly touch on something that I get asked all the time on stream, and also something that I feel is very important coming up for Sunwell Plateau. And that's whether or not you should bring an Affliction Warlock to your raid. To keep it short and simple for those that only click this for a simple answer, yes, you should bring an Affliction Warlock. Not only for progression, but most likely until we can get Sunwell on a one night clear. I'm sure you all know the perks of bringing an Affliction Warlock to your raid, but allow me to touch on them real fast. The first is Malediction. This talent increases the effect of their Curse of Elements by 3%, meaning if the Affliction Warlock uses Curse of Elements, it's 13% increased damage instead of 10. This talent isn't the main reason you bring an Affliction Warlock to Sunwell, simply because the decision on bringing Malediction lies with how many casters you actually bring. Because Destro does more damage than Affliction, oftentimes it's better just to have the Affliction go Destro, and he'll typically make up the damage difference. Thus, the only reason you'd consider a Malediction is if you were running a lot of casters, making it more worthwhile than if you were running, say, 3 or 4 casters. The main reason you should bring in an Affliction Warlock is for Shadow Embrace. This talent reduces all physical damage by 5%, which is massive in Sunwell as the bosses hit very hard, and any extra mitigation and help can go a long way. Not only that, but Affliction brings Blood Pack since they run an Imp, which should also be phase shifted in Sunwell. Trust me, I've tried to let it pump and it dies everywhere. Anyway, Blood Pack gives the Warlock and his party 70 stamina, which is 700 health, and they have a choice to grab a little bit more from a talent called Improved Imp. And before we end, to touch on the damage difference between an Affliction and Destro, yes, Destro will be doing more damage on most fights. I say most because Affliction can hard carry Meru since their Seed of Corruption is buffed slightly more than a Destro lock. In terms of single target, that will depend largely on what group you have your Affliction Warlock in. I suggest you put him in the Warlock group if you can, otherwise stick him in the Mage group. In either group, he will be able to pump. I have 2 Warlocks, one is Alliance and I'm Affliction in the Mage group, while my Horde Warlock is Affliction in the Warlock group. While I can for sure tell the difference in my DPS, it's very minor in comparison to being stuck in the healer or the tank group. However, in the case of your Affliction lock being the 5th lock, or you have 3 mages and you have to put him in the tank or the healer group, then it's still worth to bring it in my opinion. Just expect his DPS to be significantly lower than the Destro locks. Lastly, for you officers and raid leaders out there that don't play Warlocks or don't know much about them, have them run this build. This is the build that myself and most Affliction Warlocks will be going into Sunwell and Sunwell only. As with most builds in the game, there's obviously a couple of flex points. They can put them wherever they want as long as they have these 2 talents right here, Shadow Embrace and Malediction. A big issue I'm sure you leaders will have is that none of you Warlocks want to go Affliction because Destro pumps so hard and everybody wants to blast. You have a couple of options to deal with this. Both my guilds do is rotate curses on your Warlocks. One week I'll be Doom, the next week I'll be Curse of Wreck duty, and the next week I'll be Affliction and on Curse of Elements duty. Another very easy way to handle this is to reward whoever has to play AF with a piece of loot and trade for his sacrifice. Maybe the first tier piece that drops or whatever. That's up to you guys. Oh, and while we're here, if you're worried about the dot uptime or rotation as your first time Affliction Warlock, or wanted to catch up with the changes on Affliction for Sunwell, I made a 10-minute Affliction guide where I go over talents, rotation, gearing, and all of that. Guaranteed to have your Affliction Warlock ready to blast on Thursday. Well guys, I wish you luck. I'm sure by now you guys have heard of how difficult Sunwell is, and they're not over-exaggerating. It's pretty rough in there. You want all the help you can get. However, it's nothing you guys can't handle, and with some preparation, some good pools, some patience, and an Affliction Warlock, I think you will all be fine. For those wondering if I intend to do Sunwell guides, I'll be doing some, but not all of them, and there'll also be deep dives and very long videos. I'm talking like 45-minute on a boss type shit. In the meantime though, my dear friend Jordy has made some absolutely phenomenal raid guides for all those bosses in Sunwell, as well as the top 10 tips for your first Sunwell clear, and even an amazing loot prowess spreadsheet and a video. They're truly mind-blowing, and I suggest you check them out ASAP. And for those that are looking for a whole raid in one video, my friend Wow Curios has you covered not only on that, but also some excellent videos to get you ready for Phase 5. And for myself, I love you guys. Sorry I've been lacking on my videos as of late. My real life got kind of busy and streams been wild, and then at the same time with the short notice on the raids, it kind of scuffed it a little bit. And while I could spend the time to no life it, I kind of don't really want to in comparison to what I had to do in the rest of my life, you know? I'll be back though. In the meantime, come check the stream out over at twitch.tv/CrixVibes, where I stream 6 days a week and we'll be raiding Sunwell on 5 characters and getting them all ready for Lich King. Much love, and I'll see you guys in the next one.